What's up, gang?
Weren't expecting to get put to work like that.
Everybody was fired up today, man. I like it. I like it.
That's good. Talk to me about this main event. You know, this rematch. Joseph told us that you put the rematch together pretty quickly after the first fight. What was it? Was it the way the fight ended with the headbutt involved? Was it the weight miss? What was it that you were like, hey, we got to do this one right away?
It was both. It was everything. And that fight was a no-brainer to redo. We had to redo it. So here we are. Now everything's perfect. So no excuses. No controversy, hopefully. Hopefully we answer all the questions tomorrow night.
You were kind of joking that you were nervous about Devison's weight, before all the COVID stuff.
I was checking in with them all day today, and he was on point, I think we've talked about this 100 times. This is a hard business to run when things are normal, and then you add all the stuff that's going on right now. It's just, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to do. Yeah. But we're getting through it. We're doing it.
For Joseph, I think he's 35 at this point, man. He's been around the company for such a long time. Do you feel like this is kind of his last shot? Like it's now?
Yeah, I'm sure he does too. This is Benavidez is one of those guys. Like no matter who comes in contact with that guy, whether it's people at the PI, other fighters that train down there, everybody likes Joe Benavidez. He's a great guy. He's a hard worker. There's never any bullshit with him. It's all, he's a straightforward kid. He's a good kid, so it's cool to see him get another opportunity at this point in his career. I'm happy for him.
I want to ask you about the co-main event, Kelvin Gastelum. Does it feel like kind of a crossroads fight for him? I mean, he had a fight of the year, one of the greatest all-time fights ever.
He always does.
Kind of a flat performance after that. Does it feel like this is a crossroads at all?
I don't know, man. That kid's always exciting. He's always in fun fights, and I think tomorrow night's going to be the same too. I think that's a really fun fight. He's always in it. He's always right there. So I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think it's a crossroads fight, though. This is a kid that win, lose, or draw tomorrow night will still be in the top 10, will still always be exciting, and can pull out a win with one punch.
Yeah. I want to ask you about a guy that fought, I guess, like 48 hours ago at this point. Khamzat Chimaev is around the hotel saying he's cutting weight, trying to get another fight on this upcoming fight card before Fight Island's over. Is that?
Yeah, listen, he asked me to that night. I said, why not? Yeah, all right, let's do it.
So you're trying to find somebody for him?
Yeah, we are.
Is he done, or are you still looking for somebody?
As far as I know, we're still looking. Is Mick in here? Mick can never get out of here fast enough, can he? Yeah, he's working on something for him right now. We'll see what we can figure out.
Speaking of leaving, we heard you're leaving Fight Island early. You're not staying through the whole run?
Did what?
Are you leaving early?
Yeah, I was always. My birthday's coming up, so yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I wanted to ask you, seeing the news back home in Vegas, it seems like, you've mentioned you are a little bit worried. Mm-hmm. I've seen the headlines the last few days that I hadn't been seeing. It seems really bad. How serious are you? I mean, is there a possibility that maybe August doesn't happen at the Apex?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm always a worst case scenario guy. I'm always looking at what, the possibilities are. And I was thinking this 2 months ago, not just now. But, you ask any of my guys, they'll tell you, I've been saying, you think this is just going away? People are like, the heat, when the heat comes. Well, there's a lot of places out there right now that are hot that are still dealing with this thing. So I don't see what the heat has to do with it. And I don't know. So, like I say, nobody seems to be an expert on this thing, but I have some backup plans. It's not ideal. It's not what I want to do. I want to stay in Vegas. I think we've proved, not only in Vegas, but in other parts of the world and other parts of the country, we can pull this off safely and not hurt anybody. And hopefully we have that opportunity to do that in our hometown, where it would be a lot safer for all of us. Yeah. So I hope that's the case. We'll see.
Last question for me. Colby Cummington is taking to social media, posting a contract that he had with Tyron Woodleigh that was supposed to happen in mid-August. He says Tyron's not taking it. Can you update us on that situation, if that fight's going to happen, when it might happen?
It's a fight we're working on, Listen, Woodleigh said he wanted to fight him, so, Woodleigh's been talking about fighting Colby Covington since, Colby fought Usman. So it is true that Colby signed the deal and he's ready to go. So we're just waiting on Woodleigh.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
Just jumping on the back of that, that fight seems to be so hard to make. It's like every time you guys try and make it, one of them accuses the other one of not taking it. What has been the hold-up? Has it always
Listen, I always tell you guys, listen, I'm always trying to make the fights that, that should be made or people want to see. And people can say whatever they want publicly, but, behind the scenes, it's another story. And I can't speak... I can't speak honestly about what's going on. I haven't been involved in that. I've been here. But we're trying to make Woodleigh versus Cummington. And Cummington is definitely in.
I think Woodleigh said he would do it in September. So would you be happy to put it on, or do you really want Cummington on that August date?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you right now.
Henry Cejudo's been firing off at basically anyone near his weight division, Alex Volkanovski. Have you guys spoke since he retired, and is he potentially interested in coming back?
We haven't talked. Cejudo's retired. I told you guys last time, these guys that retire, I don't even think about them again. I'm already moving on to I'm looking at tomorrow night. I'm looking at, what's next and all this. I'm not thinking about those guys.
I think you said to Kevin earlier you have a backup plan in America if Vegas is taken off the table, right?
Say that again?
Do you have a backup place you could go in the States?
Yes.
Would you, knowing what we have here in Abu Dhabi, would you just try and get your currently scheduled events in America done and then just come over here for the foreseeable future, or would you try and stay in America?
Yeah, no, we're going to do a lot of fights over here. I mean, if you look at how many international fights we do a year, we do those here in Abu Dhabi, but, we have to do some of these fights in the States. It's really tough this is quite a flight.
Is there, with the partnership you guys have with Abu Dhabi, is there ever a limit you could see that they'll let you stay here for one time? Like, we've been here for a month. Could you potentially be here for 2 months?
Just never leave. We all become Abu Dhabi citizens for the next couple of years. I don't know. Listen, these guys are great. They're incredible to work with. I literally couldn't say enough good things about this partnership for the last more than a decade. There's not one thing. I'd love to be critical about some of the things here and say, you know what? I think they could do this better. There's nothing they can do better. Literally everything has been perfect. When you look at what we're dealing with, the circumstances that are going on, this couldn't be better. There's nowhere else you're going to go anywhere where, the restaurants are the way that they are here, the hotels, the service, it's just not possible. These guys are the best at what they do. Hospitality, building things that weren't here to accommodate the events that they're doing. It's just nobody does it like Abu Dhabi.
Last one from me. When we get back to the States, you've got Holm versus Aldana scheduled, but there's only like 2 fights been announced for that card. Do you have the other fights booked, or is that something you got to go home and work on?
Yeah. I told you guys, as soon as I get home on like Sunday, I'm going to be working on, I get home Sunday. By Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have everything done till October. I'll have all the way up till October done. Maybe even November.
Dana, you talk about Cejudo, that you're not thinking about him since he announced he's not fighting anymore. What about John Jones? He announced the same thing, but he hasn't been.
John Jones doesn't want to fight.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet.
You don't know if you consider doing an interim title?
I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah. Speaking about titles, you've mentioned that Gilbert Burns is next for Kamaru Usman. Jorge Masvidal is campaigning for immediate rematch with Full Camp. Is after he proved that he's a big draw, is that something you would consider doing now?
Gilbert's next.
Gilbert's next.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You were talking about the fights and that you have another plan if you have to change and not do them at the Apex. What about the Contender Series? Do you have a plan B?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, no, I don't have plan B for that. I mean, that's going to be a tough one too. If we have to do the Contender Series somewhere, I mean, we're talking some of the plans that this isn't done and this isn't guaranteed, but some of the things that I'm working on right now, we would do the Contender Series for 5 straight weeks. Then I have some other stuff going on that I'm planning right now, and then we'd have another 5 weeks of the Contender Series. So, I mean, that would be hard to pull off somewhere. I mean, we'd literally have to go stay somewhere for 5 weeks to pull that off. So, who knows? I don't know, man. at the end of the day, you know that we get shit done and we make it happen. So we'll figure it out.
But are you thinking about the Contender Series here in Abu Dhabi or in America somewhere there?
About doing the Contenders, yeah. I mean, listen, if I have to go stay somewhere for 5 weeks and put on fights for 5 weeks, Abu Dhabi would be a great place to do it. But like I said, it's a long trip to, I don't know the answer to that yet, but we'll figure it out.
Thank you.
Mr. White, when you think about how a fighter's nationality can help further develop that territory, how has someone like Manur Laziz come along at the ideal opportunity when you've got UFC Arabia and the partnership with Abu Dhabi? How is it, as someone like Manur Laziz, who's just beaten Al Hassan, has he come along at the ideal opportunity when you've got this partnership with Abu Dhabi?
Listen, I don't know how it helps. The partnership with Abu Dhabi is awesome either way. But, when you have some local talent that does well, I mean, not just does well. I mean, that kid was a 4-1 underdog, and he went in there against a fucking beast and has a fight like the fight that they fought that night. It's very good for the region, from what I'm told. That kid is very popular here. He's got a lot of support here in the region, and when you go on and you put on a performance like that as a 4-1 underdog, it's good for the region. It's good for the people who live here love that. So I wouldn't say that it does anything for the partnership, but it also shows that we've been here for over a decade, and they're starting to create some talent here. Where it will be really big here is when a homegrown, guy from Abu Dhabi or Dubai starts to fight and win and can possibly be a world champion someday. That's when you'll really see this region go off. I mean, look at what Conor McGregor did for Europe. If you look at the time that we spent and the money that we spent in Australia, now we have a champion from Australia and New Zealand, and the list goes on in different markets that we've been to.
What did you say to Laziz after the fight?
I just went over and said congratulations. It's just, the story is just mind-boggling. I mean, I'm sure you heard the story that night on my son's birthday party, and took a bunch of his friends to dinner, and this kid that's sitting next to me, Adam, is just terrorizing me about this guy. He was, because they live out here. Him and his family live out here. And he's like, I'm telling you, this guy's awesome. You need him. They love him in the area. It'll be big. It'll be this. I said, all right, kid, I'm going to do it. So I literally called Sean Shelby and told him to make the fight. And then to be sitting there. The first couple minutes, we tell the story of how a 17-year-old kid made this fight. And then the first 2 seconds, I was like, oh, shit. But it worked out,
Are you going to take any more recommendations from him?
I might take another record. Yeah, that kid's a rock star right now. He's loving it. If you go on his Instagram, it's all about the fight and him making the fight. So it was pretty cool. It's a cool story, and the fight was unbelievable.
Dana, with the COVID situation, a lot of the restrictions, sometimes from the state, sometimes from the federal, being handed down. Is there ever dialogue between you businesses and the governor on the measures?
Are we in contact with the governor?
Yeah, does he talk to you and other businesses of ideas of what should be put in place?
No, I don't think he doesn't talk to us about other businesses. It's just we talk to him about our business, and
so he does take feedback.
Beg him to not shut it down. Yeah.
Does it seem like it would, to do a draconian 10 people max, does that make sense versus like every situation is not equal?
I agree. The thing that scares me is, obviously we've proved that we can do this. If you look at how from my staff to the corners, to the fighters, to the media. I mean, we've done it all the right way. We've made sure that everybody's safe. I'm just worried if the mentality becomes, if I shut these guys down, I have to shut everybody down, kind of thing. You know, that's more what I'm worried about than anything. I mean, there's no question that we can do this, and we should be able to operate out of the apex for the rest of however long we want to. But I just hope that's going to be the case.
Dana, you said that UFC has backup plan for August, but outside of Abu Dhabi, is there any other third option for the UFC, like any other country right now that could have UFC events outside of Abu Dhabi and US?
No. How long have you been here? When did you get here?
At the beginning of the month.
Why would I go anywhere else? Why would I even think about going anywhere else other than Abu Dhabi?
Maybe if you can't do events in US in August, are you coming back right now to Abu Dhabi? Like,
I don't know yet. It's just going to depend on what happens. Listen, we're definitely coming back to Abu Dhabi, yes. I mean, that's guaranteed. I said when I came here, everybody had this idea that, this Fight Island thing was 3 or 4 fights and that was a wrap. That's not true. We're here to stay. As far as trying to find another venue outside of the United States, ain't happening. Why would I go anywhere other than Abu Dhabi? Abu Dhabi might end up becoming the fight capital of the world. Seriously, when you think about it. It's definitely not Vegas right now.
and my other question is, Costa said that the fight against Adesanya is taking so long to have a done deal that he told the UFC that he would be open to fight for an interim title. Does that make sense to you? Is this true? He told the UFC that he would fight another guy.
What's that?
Paulo Costa is saying it's taking too long to make a fight with Israel Adesanya. Would you ever consider doing an interim title with Paulo Costa versus somebody else?
Nah, they're going to fight. And that fight's going to happen.
Yeah, just because he said that he told the UFC that he would like to fight for an interim title.
Well, the fight took so long to get ready because he got hurt. That's why the fight's taking so long. I mean, that fight was supposed to happen a long time ago, but he got hurt, so we've been waiting for him to get healed. He's better now, and, obviously the world is batshit nuts right now, so we're getting everything lined up, but that fight's going to happen. There's no need to do any other fights. Good?
Hey, Dane?
Yeah? Thank you, guys.
Hey, Dana. I just have a last question.
Yeah.
Given what you just said, it's probably not the best time, but would you have any updates for the UFC in Paris in 2021?
Yeah, no. Bad time. Thank you.